Question, tell me what you think about me. I buy my own diamonds and I buy my own rings. Only ring your celly when I'm feeling.
Hey guys, welcome. I am excited to bring you guys yet another show, and this time I am bringing you double the fun. I am excited to introduce my guests today, two amazing individuals who I've known for several years now, who I work with very often. They are my go-to team when it comes to title insurance for my clients. They have been in the industry together as a team for about since 2011, correct?
That's right.
And they work for one of the biggest title companies, which is Fidelity National Title Company. And I have them here today to give us some advice on important facts to know about title, what's important about it, how to protect yourself, and most importantly, your biggest asset, which is your home. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Mr. Steve and Jim Carollo.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you,
guys. So first of all, I'd like you guys to tell the audience a little bit about how you guys got started as a team, because a father and son team, you know, it's not something that you guys, your dad raises you and you guys are going to work together. That means you're going to spend a lot more time together.
Well,
So
I'll start off with the story. I've been in the title insurance industry for about since 1983, and I never had a discussion with my son about getting into title insurance, except one day at the dinner table, son, would you like to maybe join me and maybe being a partner at the title insurance company? And he said yes and interviewed, and here we are.
that is so crazy
I
because
said yes, and what is title insurance?
oh my gosh, that's awesome, because I have children, my daughter who's a teen, and I've talked to her, hey, why don't you do real estate? You know, let's get into real estate. And she's like, no, Mom, I don't think so. So it's crazy that it just came about.
It was the greatest decision. It was the greatest decision that I ever made. Bringing on my son and working with my son has been awesome.
And I agree. You guys are an amazing team. That's why I like working with you guys. If I can't get a hold of one, the other one's there. So it's, hey, you guys are an amazing package.
Yeah,
this is true.
Yeah, it's been a fun ride. We've been, building that team chemistry over the years, and our clients and the consumers really benefit from it.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Well, good to know. Why don't we start off by sharing a little bit of, what is title insurance and what is the purpose of it when it comes to buying or selling a property?
A lot of people ask us that question, and they wonder why they should have it. And we were talking earlier before, title insurance is we issue a policy of insurance that you own the property. Mm-hmm. So basically, you're in writing that you are ownership, that you have legal right to the property. So if you don't get title insurance, the negative part of it is that you assume everything that the seller has on them personally, individually, or on their property record. So that means IRS, tax liens, state board tax liens, child support, things that they automatically, which would be attached to the property, would automatically go over to the client who's buying the property if they did not get title insurance.
Wow. And that's so important to know, especially with all these side dealings that people are doing and not knowing the importance of title insurance. I mean, it can make or break everything.
There are a lot of things. Our company, Fidelity National Title, has been in business for quite a long time, but a parent company is Fidelity National Financial, which is by far the largest title insurance company in the United States. We're proud to work for them. Back in 2019, they were 409 and the stock exchanged. In 2020, 375, and now we're 288 in 2001.
Fortune 500.
Awesome.
The title companies are not covered by FDIC. We are solely independent.
Okay.
The government doesn't support us. So financial strength is the most important item that the consumer needs to know, that we are there financially solid, and we are. We're number one in the market share, proud to say, in Los Angeles County for the past 23 years in a row. So we have a solid base. Steve and I have a local office in Torrance where we work, and we have our title officers Joe Mansueto and our staff is there with escrow, and it makes it very convenient for all the escrows within the area. So that means all the consumers are within 15 minutes from us if they need to come into the office and talk about things.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been lucky to build somewhat of a one-stop shop for the consumer, for the real estate agent. Jim has built a team around him, including myself, that gets the job done. So when it comes to the end process, the title insurance process where we close, we close the deal, and we've closed quite a few over the years. So
I know, and I've seen, your dad do some awesome stuff. Like, I mean, literally when it comes to closing and you're at the tail end where it's time is money if it doesn't happen, where I've seen your father, get in his car, drive the title, drive the documents to, county recorder's office and getting it done. So who you work with definitely matters. And working with a team like this has definitely made my business a lot easier, not only for me, but most importantly for the clients.
yeah, absolutely.
Well, our investment portfolio is $47 billion, and our 1.9 we have in claims reserves. So if any claims, and that is number one in the industry. So again, not all title companies are equal. We are an insurance company. So when you work with us, we're a direct insurer. We issue the policy, and that's the difference between a title company that's almost like a subcontracting title company. Okay, so they're not, the policy is issued by potentially another, insurance company. So we're proud to say we're in 50 states. Awesome. And access for, information that the client can get from us. We have a lot of data. What we do basically, when a transaction happens, the escrow calls us and opens up a preliminary report. Mm-hmm. So a preliminary report is a search on the property, and it pulls up a lot of information about the property and about the seller. So just to give you some ideas on some things that it does do, it pulls up tax information, court judgment information, deeds, encumbrances, mortgage, federal and state records. We search these when we do a preliminary report.
And that again is very important.
Yes.
For us to know, because when you're buying the property, if this is not clear, you can have potential issues down the road if the title insurance hasn't done the right research when it comes to transferring title of a property to the new homeowner.
These are the potential risks if you don't get title insurance. Prior detective deeds, unreleased mortgages, mechanics liens that come up.
Those are very important.
If they're doing work on the property and they want to decide they want to do a lien that they didn't pay the workers, they put a lien on. Yeah. Tax judgments, outstanding child support liens, access rights to the property lines, right-of-way easements. Sometimes you have driveways that you have to share. You have to know about these. Yeah, water and sewer assessments, improper index documents, pending bankruptcies. There are sellers that agents go out to their house and they don't even know they're in bankruptcy.
Exactly.
And this is an issue, so we pull this information up.
It is a very common issue, and like we were going back to mechanics lien, that's one that I would say is one of the biggest, most common one. When someone's it's come time to sell your home, and title does their research, and you're like, well, guess what? We have a new surprise for you. You don't just have a mortgage to pay off. You have something else. So it's very important that we're addressing this issue.
Well, divorce proceedings, boundary line disputes are probably the biggest problem that we run into, because I can't tell you how much people will battle over 6 inches of land and sue each other and really get carried away. And it happens many a times. So in our policy, we cover a $2,500 deductible, and on a boundary line dispute on a wall, we will pay $2,500. So, but you have to pay the deductible first.
That's awesome. And if I can interrupt you on that one, talking about, because that is a very pertinent issue, especially for buyers going out there looking at homes. You know, you see a driveway, you're like, wait, where does this belong to? Well, the fence ends here. I think it belongs here. For issues like that, for a consumer to be able to identify, okay, what are your boundary lines? What is your recommendation of what needs to be done, or who they need to hire to assess, okay, what is your boundary line?
Right. Yeah. And what we do is we have an ALTA survey. Okay. We actually hire a surveyor. It's not a surveyor company, but it's our internal survey. It's called ALTA survey, and we actually just find out if there's an encroachment, and we disclose that up front. So that helps the agent as well as the buyer, and everyone knows there's an issue. The title companies do not cover that issue. They use that as an exception. So they will not cover that issue because they know there's a problem and the boundary line is not perfect. But this happens quite a bit. I can tell you stories about all the boundary line disputes, things that I've had.
I'm sure you've seen some, and yeah.
It's unbelievable, but it is an issue. Probate, a lot of times people ask us about probate, if a property's going to probate, and they can call us, and the agents send us information like you do, call us and that. Forgery is a huge problem in our industry. There are 3,000 to 4,000 notaries that do illegal activity in LA County alone.
That's a huge number.
We, the title company, actually look at all the documents that are signed by you, by the history, how you signed them. And so we look for potential forgery. That's our job, and we cover that in our policy. In our policy, our ALTA policy, there are two policies that are issued in policies that we issued. We issue a owner's policy, and we also issue a lender's policy if there's a loan on the property. So that owner's policy basically covers items. It's an ALTA owner's policy. That's typically what we offer. And then there's a CLTA policy. So there's actually two types of owner's policy, ALTA owners and CLTA standard policy. The ALTA offers things that are recorded, the documents that are recorded information that we cover. But the second thing that it does, it ensures things that are in the future. So basically, post-forgery, if somebody forges your name on your document, the title company will take that problem off the title at no cost to you, to the owner. Right. So that's one of the things that we do.
And the nice thing about that policy is that it's a one-time, payment for the seller. Well, the seller pays for the buyer's policy, so that lasts the entire length of ownership. So if you're up in age and you had that title insurance policy 20 years prior and a forgery issue comes up, you're protected by the insurance company.
Awesome.
It's important.
Yeah,
And generally, do those two policies come in hand when someone is doing any type of real estate transaction on the property, or who chooses which one?
Well, the ALTA owner's policy is typically 99% of the time we offer that policy to your client, which covers things like mechanics liens, post encroachments. So if there's an encroachment on the property and we didn't see it, the title company will stand up and you pay a deductible, and they'll pay up to $25,000 on an issue on an encroachment. So there are things that the title company does, but those are some of the main things that it puts together for you. Awesome. And forgery is the key thing.
Yeah,
that
and I would
comes
say
down.
that's one of the biggest ones, especially for elderlies, like you said. We're seeing an increase in probates now more than ever, and I would say forgery is probably one of the most important ones right now, because I'm sure you guys can attest you're seeing a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we have professionals inside, Joe Mansueto, our title officer, being one of them, that can identify forgery. He's trained in it. And so those things come up, and to have those people that have the experience on your team is super important. So, we're lucky to have, those things in place to be able to protect our clients, because you never know. It could come up and someone would overlook it, but a trained eye will see that forgery and spot it and protect the client.
Yeah, and that's what's most important. At the end of the day, we do this to help and protect our clients. So thank you for
So
sharing.
you get the preliminary report. The first thing you do is read it. And the homeowner should read the preliminary report. It's important that they get involved and they really read it and look over it, and they'll go over with you. You share that information with the client, but that will tell you what type of policy and tell you the taxes that are owed and tells you any easements that are on the property, various things. You get a whole list of information and you don't want a whole bunch of things, but you want it, if it's there, it'll be there. But the statement of information is the next thing that's very, very key thing is the seller must fill out and the buyer must fill out. It's called a statement of information. It's like this.
Yes, guys, and listen in because this is a very important document.
This document.
It will identify.
This document, the preliminary report basically offers things that are on record, but the off-record information that's on you personally comes up like child support, state tax liens, IRS liens. These things come up, and the issue is there are very common names in Los Angeles County, just for example. So you might have a Jose Cruz. We had one the other day, Jose Cruz. And then we got Bill Smith. There's a whole bunch of them. So how do we clear off their name on title if they have issues on it? So we need a statement of information. We need it completely filled out by you. And then that means social security numbers, information, where you work and how long you've been married and all this type of stuff. And once we get that information from you, then we eliminate the items and clear the preliminary report and get it ready to close for the transaction. If not, those judgments and liens will all be on the prelim and it will delay your closing.
Exactly. And it's important that you're addressing this because personally, me, with my experience, it's happened where, when you meet with your client, your goal is to know everything about them. And I mean everything because, again, if there's something you do not disclose because you think we're not going to find out, when it comes time to this document, oh, believe me, anything that's been put under the carpet is going to come out. So very, very important to be open about any issues you may have. Remember, we're on your side, but don't let this document come up and show what's really going on, behind you as an individual, whether it be a buyer or a seller.
Yeah, it's super important to have clean title. People now with such limited inventory are looking at homes, wanting to buy these homes, no contingencies. They're just going in.
Not reviewing anything.
Yeah.
And guys, that's so important because no contingencies means you're taking it as it is. Like you're not giving yourself the opportunity to review any of these important documents that can affect the ownership of the property. So yes, it's super, super important for people to know that, especially in this market.
We insure the property and the land. I think that's what most people don't understand. We actually share the land and the legal description on the property. So when you get a copy of the preliminary report, there is a section, it's called Exhibit A. And Exhibit A shows the lot, the tract, the city, the book and page. Please take time to note that this is correct. If this is incorrect, your property could be attached to somebody else's other property. So I'm telling you, as a title rep who've been in this industry since almost 39 years, this is the most important thing because we insure this. We insure this legal description. And sometimes we will have a typo just by one number. And that one number, that means the property is going to go and it's not going to get recorded on your land. So this is very important. It's called the legal description of your property because that's what we insure. Make sure you review that. Very important to do that.
Yes, and in touching on that, especially when you have family members transferring title ownership, and you guys have probably seen this, I'm going to transfer it to my child, to my grandson, or what have you. And anytime there's a change in title, you would agree that that legal description has to also be correct. So you can't just walk into a mom and pop notary and say, oh, help me do these documents. No, you need to make sure you have the right team behind you to help you clarify these minor things that may seem so minor, but they can be so
They can be major.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, buying a home, I was a first-time home buyer about 2 years ago, and it's a scary situation, and it's the biggest investment of your lifetime. What we like to say in our business is that title insurance is ensuring that large investment. We're protecting you, the home buyer, so nothing comes up, so that you're assured what you're truly buying is yours. So, it's nice to have somebody backing you as the consumer when you make that purchase.
Of course. And addressing that too, I would say when you're buying a property, you sign so many documents. And I would say a title report is probably something that gets overlooked, that people don't realize the importance of someone going through it and explaining to you, like Jim says, each part of the prelim, so you know what you're getting yourself into.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree, as you when you did your first time buyer experience?
It's a scary situation. I've been in the business for almost 11 years now, and when you go through that process, as the consumer, it opens up your eyes to the risks that you're taking and what you're embarking on, and the people you need to trust in your circle.
Yes.
It's important to have a good real estate agent that looks out for you. It's important to have a good lender. It's important to build a team around you of professionals that you trust. And
Agreed.
These days it's hard to find. So, I know working with you for many years that you're definitely a trusted agent, a business professional in the industry.
you.
And you've surrounded yourself with like-minded individuals that are looking out for their clients. The same can't be said for a lot of agents, a lot of lenders in this business. So it's really important that you make that circle one that you trust and one that will get the job done. Because at the end of the day, when people are sweating it and you have 14-day close or you got a 30-day close, if all those dominoes don't connect with each other, you're in trouble and you're out of luck. And that interest rate you locked in ain't going to be the same, so
Right.
it's super important to
And
have
your
that chemistry.
contingency periods,
Yep.
something may come up at the day before closing, and guess what? You've removed your contingency, so your deposit is no longer protected, but you chose to, eliminate your contingency. So it's very important for consumers to know that these days. Thank you. You guys have shared some amazing tips. So what's your advice for the consumer as far as, what is the one way they can protect themselves from a potential scam if they find themselves in a situation? Other than coming to us, of course.
Right. Well, basically, anybody can rob your home. And it's the same thing in title insurance. It's anybody can and there's a lot of things that are out there. There's programs that they advertise on TV. I think it's called Title Lock or something. And it's a scare tactic type of situation, a little bit. We, the title company, we get information from the county records, and that information comes 12 days after it actually happens. So as of today, we will get information that everything that recorded 12 days from now. So we really don't know in that period of 12 days if anything ever got recorded on the property. Mm-hmm. And that data is put into a database bank of information through the title company that they've been doing for the last 65 years. So basically, it's hard to detect. And that's why you get title insurance, because something could happen between that 12-day period. Mm-hmm. And we're insuring from the point that it records to this kind of a gray area. So there's a little website that we have that might be great for the consumer. It's called www.fidelitylv.com. So that's www.fidelitylv.com. And so basically what it is that if you go to the site, it will tell you what your legal vesting is on your property within seconds. So that means every month, if you want to go to this site and you want to find out, am I entitled? So this morning I tried it on my own property and told me exactly that my wife and I have our trust and, we own it. And I will tell you, if somebody else has illegally done something and you'll find it, and then now you're aware of it being happened instead of spending all the money. Because remember, the title insurance policy will cover you for any forgeries or protection throughout the life of the property that you own. And that's the beautiful thing of the title. It's only one-time fee that you pay. So that's pretty much how that works out.
And that is obviously considered part of your initial closing costs when you're, purchasing or selling a property. But yeah, I would say it's definitely worth it, protecting your biggest asset. So how can our audience get a hold of you guys if they ever needed to reach out to you directly?
Oh, okay.
Website, phone number, what's the best way?
At the bottom of your screen right now. stevecarollo.com or jimcarollo.com.
Awesome.
You'll see us. We're pretty easy to find. I wanted to mention one thing on wire fraud, because protecting the consumer, something we're seeing commonly with phishing, as some might know it, with emails. You have to be very careful. Emails are getting hacked, and someone can pretend that they're the title company. They can pretend that they're escrow. A phone call to the escrow company, a phone call to the title company is important when you're going to send that money. You need to make sure that you're sending the money as the buyer to the proper authorities. Sometimes we'll see somebody is impersonating the escrow company and one letter is off. You really got to make sure you're sending that money, to the correct party, because it can happen. And a lot of these escrow companies, these independents, they are not insured up to that level that you think that they might be. And you might be out of luck. It's just the real honest truth of the situation.
And it's very true. And so thank you for addressing that, especially right now, like you said, wire fraud is a big, big issue. Yeah. And when you're buying a property, that initial deposit, it can be anywhere from a couple thousand to hundreds of thousands. And if you're not aware of this, that money can get lost literally within the stream of
They're very creative. They'll time it with when the transaction's going down. They know up to the hour of that conversation. They're tracking every minute of it. If they've hacked your email, they know that 7 days out from now they're going to ask for some type of documentation, and they can time that to where you think that you're getting information from.
Crazy.
So you just got to keep extra eye out.
Just make sure you call the title company before you wire the money, to make sure that the email and the wire instructions are that of the title company. Because what my son Steve is talking about is that there are hackers out there, and they are professionals at what they do. Mm-hmm. And they have hacked all title companies have got it. So it's very, very important that you, the consumer, know that if you're wiring funds, make sure you get in contact with the person that you're wiring the funds so that the absolute correct email address and wiring instructions is accurate. Very, very critical.
Yes, and it's important to know that in this situation, escrow and title do work together. Usually escrow will send you over that document that they get from title, but initially the one who's getting the funds is the title company, correct?
Correct.
So it's always important to just make that simple call. You're at the bank, you're ready to send out the wire, just pick up the phone and call them before you initially sign off on that wire request.
When you hear the word confirmation, that means it is officially closed. The agent can give you the keys and you're completed. When that confirmation happens, the title insurance policy is issued and you are covered. So as long as you own the property, you're protected. And then you receive a policy in hand. Make sure when you receive the policy, put it somewhere safe that will never get lost, and do not ever keep your policy. It's your proof that you own the house, even after you sell it again. Always keep your title insurance policy.
Oh, that's a great advice, because how many clients haven't I worked with where they're like, we don't even know where none of our documents are. And I don't think no one has really, even myself, to tell my clients, keep your title policy documents in a safe in a safety
Yeah,
box
it's
or in a safe
it's your
place.
proof. It's your proof that you own it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you guys so much.
Oh,
You
you're
guys
so
have
welcome.
shared some amazing advice that, like I said, I feel a lot of the consumers may not be aware of. And I just hope that this is a takeaway for you in making sure that when you're making your next move, you're making the right decision. And if you have any questions, we work as a team and we are here to help you. Until then, it was awesome having you guys on the show, and I wish you guys all a blessed day.
Glutathione is a big word. It's the body's own master antioxidant. It's a scavenger for free radicals, bacteria, and viruses. There are no products in the market with the ingredient NASET. NASET increases the production of glutathione that's in our body already to strengthen and enhance our immune system, elevate sense of well-being, support muscle strength and endurance, cognitive function, and liver support. It helps with increased energy and blood sugar regulation. Get your bottle of GSH Plus from www.salvationnutra.com.